All right, let's get our hands dirty today. We're diving into the world of demolition workers.
Yeah, should be fun.
I've got some seriously interesting stuff sent in from you guys.
Hmm. That's some
And
interesting source material for sure.
yeah, and it seems like, and this is just from what you sent in, that it's way more than just swinging a wrecking ball.
It really is. It's a lot more nuanced, I think, than most people realize. We've got RoleCatcher's career deep dive on demolition workers.
Okay.
Plus, we've got some intriguing info on their AI-powered platform, RoleCatcher, for job hunters. So
Yeah.
if you thought this whole career was about brute force
Yeah.
and a little bit of dynamite,
Yeah.
you're in for a surprise.
All right. I am ready to be surprised. So tell me, what was the most unexpected thing you came across in this research?
Honestly,
Yeah.
the level of precision involved blew me away.
Really?
Yeah. They use drones to survey sites before a single hammer swings to
Wow.
pinpoint structural weaknesses, what hazardous materials are. Yeah, they use things like hydraulic shears for surgical demolition.
So it's not your grandpa's wrecking ball.
Not anymore. No, not at all.
Wow.
It's really about controlled chaos, I think.
Okay, so controlled chaos.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this meticulous planning and high-tech equipment, that makes it safer than what people would think.
Absolutely. Way safer
Okay.
than people think. And there's a huge emphasis now on environmental responsibility, which I thought was really cool.
Okay, so it's not just about tearing things down then.
Right.
You're saying there's this element of like, I don't know, kind of respecting what you're tearing down and doing it responsibly.
Exactly.
So what's the green angle on demolition?
Well, they pulverize the concrete from these demolished buildings,
Okay.
and they use it for new construction.
Wow.
It's recycling on a massive scale.
Interesting.
They've also found ways to reduce dust,
Okay.
noise pollution during these demolitions.
Huh. So they're really thinking of everything.
They really are.
Like the whole process from start to finish.
Start to finish, yeah.
And that's really fascinating. It gives a whole new meaning to that phrase, building a greener future.
It does.
But, okay, so with all this high-tech equipment, all this intricate planning,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of skills are we looking at for someone that actually wants to get into this line of work?
You hit the nail on the head,
Okay,
because it's not just brawn anymore.
right.
This career guide really emphasizes having a solid understanding of building and construction,
Okay.
which makes sense,
Yeah.
but it goes deeper than that.
Deeper, like what?
Well, think about it. What do you find on a demolition site?
I don't know, like hazards, probably.
Hazards. Yeah,
Right.
a lot of potential hazards.
Yeah.
So you've got asbestos,
Right.
lead paint, things like that.
Yeah.
So having a basic understanding of chemistry and hazardous materials is incredibly beneficial in this field.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. So you're not just knocking down walls. You're dealing with potential, like, environmental and health hazards, too.
Exactly.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Huge responsibility. And that's actually where RoleCatcher's AI platform comes in.
Yeah.
Not just for demolition workers, but all sorts of jobs.
Now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this AI thing.
Yeah.
How does it actually help someone that's, say, looking for a job in demolition?
Well, it analyzes job descriptions,
Okay.
and then it suggests ways to tailor your resume so that it stands out to these potential employers,
Wow.
even if they're using AI to sift through hundreds of applications.
So it's like you have a secret weapon in this job hunt.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it highlights how important it is to not just have the skills, but to know how to really showcase those skills in this day and age.
Sounds like the job market is a whole other kind of demolition derby these days.
It really is, yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
But speaking of the job market, this career guide actually goes really in depth about the different stages of a demolition worker's career path.
Okay.
And it's actually pretty impressive.
So let's break it down. Where does someone even start in this world?
Yeah. It all starts with hands-on experience.
Okay.
They really recommend getting your boots dirty as a laborer or apprentice, learning from the more seasoned pros.
Okay, so no shortcuts.
No.
Got to pay your dues, work your way up.
Yeah, definitely.
So entry-level worker, what are they doing? What, like just fetching coffee for the guy with the wrecking ball?
Actually, the guide, it shares a snippet from an actual entry-level worker.
Okay.
And they were talking about how they assisted with equipment operation,
Okay.
following all the safety protocols, obviously really
Okay.
important, and even handling basic maintenance tasks.
So really learning the ins and outs of every aspect of the job,
Absolutely.
even the stuff that doesn't involve explosives.
Yeah, even the less glamorous stuff.
Okay. So you've swept up enough rubble, you've proven yourself. What's the next step up that ladder?
So then you move on to operating equipment. But under supervision, of course.
Okay.
But eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're calling the shots
Yeah.
on your own demolition projects, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I imagine the responsibilities kind of grow with each step, right?
Exponentially? Yeah.
So what's the view like from the top? If you're at the top of this field, what are you doing?
Well, mid-level, you're supervising newer recruits.
Oh,
You're coordinating the removal of debris. You might even contribute to project plans, things like that.
okay.
But the senior demolition worker,
Yeah.
different story.
Okay.
They are leading. They're managing entire projects from that initial drone survey
Right.
to the final cleanup.
Wow.
They're developing the safety protocols. They're working with clients. They're working with engineers, making sure everything comes tumbling down exactly as planned.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, it's like they're conducting a symphony of destruction
I like that.
with precision and expertise.
That's a good way to put it.
But it seems like that comes with, like we said, a lot of responsibility,
A huge amount of responsibility.
especially when it comes to safety.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Without a doubt. And this guide we have, it does not shy away from that
Okay, good.
demolition. It's dangerous.
Right.
And they hammer home the importance of strict safety protocols,
Good.
certifications, just constant vigilance on these job sites.
As they should.
Yeah, rightfully so.
So what kind of, like, safety measures are we talking here?
Well, you've got to secure the working area.
Yeah.
You have to identify any sort of lingering hazardous materials. You've got to know emergency procedures like the back of your hand, because one wrong move, and it could be serious.
Yeah, for sure.
Not just for the workers, but for anyone nearby.
Exactly. Not a job for the faint of heart, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
You need nerves of steel, a cool head, and you've got to think on your feet. Which actually, speaking of thinking on your feet, I saw this source material mention something about interview questions for demolition jobs.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be pretty intense.
It can be, yeah.
Wow.
They actually include some sample questions,
Oh, cool.
which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, that's great.
So you can see what potential employers are looking for.
Okay, so hit me with one.
Okay.
What kind of curveball questions am I going to get if I walk into a demolition worker interview?
Yeah. Well, some are straightforward, like, what's your experience with heavy machinery?
Yeah, makes sense.
What do you know about safety protocols?
Right.
How would you handle this problem on a job site?
Sure.
But then there are the ones that really make you think.
Okay.
Like, describe a time you had to improvise during a demolition project.
So they want to know you can handle a little, like, impromptu deconstruction.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because demolition's a dynamic field.
Yeah.
Things change in an instant. A wall could be weaker than you thought it was.
Yeah, for sure.
The weather could throw a wrench in your plans. You need someone who can adapt.
Right.
Think on their feet, find solutions, but keep safety in mind.
That's that classic saying. Demolish like no one's watching, but be ready for someone to walk in.
Exactly.
Okay, I might have butchered that.
You got the spirit of it.
But you get what I'm saying.
I do. But on a more serious note, we were talking about sustainability earlier.
Yes.
And it's really woven throughout this entire career path.
Okay, interesting.
As you progress, you're taking on more responsibility, sure,
Yeah.
managing the products, managing people, but you're also more involved in making sure this work is done in an environmentally responsible way.
So it's like a built-in incentive to climb the ladder.
Yeah,
The higher you go, the bigger impact you can have
exactly.
in making demolition more sustainable.
Yeah, and that really resonated with me. It's
Yeah.
not just about tearing things down anymore. It's about doing it in a way that reduces environmental impact,
Yeah.
minimizes waste, maybe even gives some of these old buildings a chance to contribute to a greener future.
I like that. So we've talked about a lot of really interesting stuff, but demolition is changing, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So I'm curious, with all this new tech, what does the future hold for this line of work? Like, any chance we're going to see robots taking over these demolition sites?
You know, that's an interesting image.
Right.
And it's not too far off, actually. Yeah, this source material actually talks about the rise of automation and robotics in a lot of industries.
Okay.
And demolition is no exception.
So instead of a guy with a sledgehammer, it's going to be like demolition droids.
Think more along the lines of, like, highly specialized robots assisting with certain tasks, like maybe handling hazardous materials or demolishing like a structurally unsound area.
Okay.
So, imagine a robot that can carefully remove asbestos or lead paint, minimizing the risk to human workers.
That makes sense.
Or picture this. You've got a robotic arm. It's equipped with a diamond saw, And it's making these really precise cuts
Wow.
that would be really difficult and dangerous for a person to do.
Right. Okay. So when you put it like that, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
But does that mean that human demolition workers are going to be a thing of the past?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think even with all these incredible advancements in robotics, human expertise is still going to be critical.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, you still need people to oversee these robots, to program them,
Right.
to adapt to those unpredictable scenarios that we talked about before.
Right, because those are going to happen no matter what.
Always.
Okay, so really what you're talking about is like a partnership then
Exactly.
between humans and robots,
I think it's going to be key.
each kind of playing to their strengths.
Without a doubt.
And I imagine that shift is going to redefine some roles and responsibilities in the industry too.
Definitely. Like the demolition worker of the future might need skills that are more similar to a robotics technician, you know?
Okay.
They've got to understand how to operate these machines, maintain them, repair them, things like that.
So it's not just about knowing how to swing a sledgehammer.
Right.
You've got to know how to program the robot to swing the sledgehammer for you.
Exactly. Exactly.
It makes you wonder, like, what other kinds of unexpected skills are going to be needed as demolition evolves?
You know, if you think about it,
Yeah,
demolition, it's really just problem solving on a massive scale.
that's a good way to look at it.
You're presented with this structure,
Yeah,
and you have to figure out how to safely and efficiently take it apart.
right.
So having strong analytical skills,
Okay.
critical thinking, being able to adapt to changing circumstances,
Yeah.
that's always going to be in demand,
No matter how advanced things get.
no matter what.
Okay, so we can't predict the future. But it sounds like demolition workers are going to need to be adaptable, tech savvy, and maybe have that problem-solving spirit, always thinking outside the box.
That's a great way to put it.
And that's probably good advice for anyone listening, right?
Absolutely.
No matter what field you're in.
No matter what you do,
We're living in a time where things are constantly changing.
all the time.
So you've got to be able to learn new things, be open to those new technologies.
Yeah, embrace the change.
It's like they say the only constant is change, right?
Very true.
Especially in the world of demolition.
Yeah, especially there.
It's been really cool diving into this with you,
It's been fun.
learning about all this stuff. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore a career in demolition, or maybe just see it in a new light. It's a field that's always evolving. It's full of challenges, but it's also full of rewards. So no matter what path you choose out there, remember to stay curious, embrace those new technologies, and never stop learning. This has been The Deep Dive, signing off.